Rusty W113, fix it or not. I had a gentleman from Grosse Pointe, Michigan call me today who is the second owner, I think he's the second owner of a 67 250 SL, red, black leather, automatic, and the car just has a lot of rust. It has rust in the rockers and rust in the floors and all the kind of rust you get in Michigan, which is really frustrating because the 250 SL is an amazing car. I mean, if I had a 250 SL and it had a bunch of rust, I think to myself, what would I do? So, and behind me is a cute little 250 SL, just like the one that this gentleman had mentioned to me. And the values of 113s have come up so much, but people still ask, was the car ever rusty? Did the car need a restoration? What did the car need? You know, do you do it for the love of the car? Do you do it because the car is valuable? Or do you do it because it's just the right thing to do and you're not really sure what's going to happen in the future? I'm going to clear up a couple of these questions for you. First of all, if you have a W113, it doesn't matter if it's an automatic or a manual. If you've got good ownership documentation, it has its original engine, its original transmission, you know that the car is a really solid car, and you enjoy driving it, it runs well and it functions well and it seems like a very decent car, you should probably keep the car. It's much easier to start with a car that you know and drive and love than something you go out and buy for $55,000 or $60,000. It still needs like 30 or 40 grand in repairs. I know personally that I would rather start with the devil I know than the devil that I don't. So that's a tip for any of you that are sorting or restoring a vintage Mercedes. Start with the car that you have. Second of all, if you're going to do it all the way. In the case of this 250 SL, if I were going to restore it, I'd probably pull the front subframe out with the engine and transmission on it, take the total interior out, take the doors off, take out the rear axle and get out the welder. And sandblast the shell before it really, before you really start doing any serious work. The W113 SLs, what we've noticed is even if you invest $100,000 in a restoration, you might actually get it back. With other SLs, it doesn't quite translate, and with 123s and such, it definitely doesn't translate, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't consider restoring the car. If you have an older 123 that you love and the car is rust and stuff, it doesn't mean that you need to replace it with another one. It just means that the money that you'd probably spend buying, like let's say a new Impala or a new Camry or something else that's really vanilla and boring and is going to depreciate like a rock when it gets 100,000 miles on it, might be better spent restoring your Mercedes. Anyway, for more questions about making a value judgment on restoring a car or not, please drop us a line, especially before you decide to dump that car in the wrecking yard. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, right now might be the time to do so. Thank you, and please let me know what you think.